This is International Women's Day, and to celebrate this year, Pacific Media Network are teaming up with Pacifica Medical Association by running a virtual panel event called Wave of the Moana. Now, Wave of the Moana will hear from a panel of 6 amazing Pacifica women who will share their stories, challenges and aspirations, and of course explore this year's theme, which is Break the Bias. So joining us now to help celebrate this day is one of the panelists, better known for her advocacy work in the climate change space, none other than Brianna Fruean. With that, I say Malori Sufun. Welcome to the show this morning.
Morena, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, Brianna. So good for you to join us this morning. Of course, we are celebrating International Women's Day. First off, why is it so important for you to celebrate this day?
Yes, happy International Women's Day. I think this day is important because any day where we can celebrate the women in our lives is a good day. And I think that if we could pinpoint a time where everyone is accountable to show appreciation for the women in their life, that's a good thing, and it's a positive, and it's something that we should celebrate because we always should be celebrating our women.
Absolutely. And leading me to the next question, is there any sort of woman in your life, though, that you have felt that have really shaped or molded you into the woman that you are today?
Oh, yes, 100%. The women in my family, from my mom, my sister, my aunties, have shaped the person that I am, from the way that I dress to the way that I talk and walk. When I was little, I just wanted to be like them and emulate them. And they made it very easy for me to have role models growing up. And so I'm very lucky for the women in my family. And I feel like a lot of Pacific women can relate to that their first idols or their first star in their life that they look up to is always that favorite auntie or that motherly figure in your life that you're like, I want to be just like you.
I love that. But is there anything specific, Brianna, about maybe your mom or your aunties, something that they actually taught you, do you know, that you hold dear to you even today?
Yes, something that I hold dear to me that the women in my life have told me is that we are not one thing, that we can be a different person in the workplace and then be a different person in the family and then be a different person with our friends, and that's okay. We're very layered as Pacific women, and particularly for me as the Samoan woman, and that's what makes us beautiful. It's not what makes us different or a burden we have to carry. It's actually a strength of ours that we operate and we move in different ways in different spaces because we were taught to adapt.
That's beautiful. Now, of course, this year's theme is breaking the bias. What does that actually mean to you? And I'm sure you've had plenty of moments in your life where you feel like you've had to break the bias as a young Pacifica woman. If you don't mind sharing a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think breaking the bias for me is really about breaking stereotypes as well. I'm sure it's a very common experience for young Pacific women to walk into a space and be mistaken for a worker, or to be tapped on the back and asked to go get a cup of tea when you're a panelist. And I think that that's a bias that we have to carry around and break and make sure not to get that in our own heads. I think sometimes it's really hard when someone keeps on telling you you're this thing, you're this thing, you're this thing, for you to think, no, I'm not. I'm actually, this is who I am. And so I think it's important that this year's theme is breaking the bias, because there's a lot of biases that weighs our young women down. But we are resilient and we break through and we correct people and we hold them accountable and we say, no, I'm not what you perceive me to be. I'm actually much more than that.
Of course. What has it been like then for yourself? Because most people would know you sit in the climate change space. What's it been like for you to have to speak on such a massive, topic in the world that affects literally everybody?
It's definitely been a challenge to always show up and speak a lot of the times when your voice isn't necessarily wanted, or you always notice the eyes in the room who are like, who is this, like, why are they talking? But I think something that's really helped me is just acknowledging that like the women who came before me fought for my space, that I wasn't just born and then someone was like, here, take this. I was actually born because of the strong Pacific women who fought for us to be recognized, who fought for a lot of the spaces that we occupy, for spaces like the one where we'll be having tonight. I'm sure my mom and definitely my grandma's generation weren't afforded those spaces and these platforms. And so when I'm given the opportunity to step up into them, I always think, make the most of them, because this is what our elders fought for.
If you're tuning in, we're speaking with Wave of the Moana panelist, Brianna Fruean. I'd love to know, as you have been brought up in Aotearoa, any sort of misconceptions or anything as a young Pacifica woman that you've actually had to face though?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Samoa. And so it's been a very interesting experience coming to Aotearoa over the past 3 years, because it's such a different space, right? I just grew up around Samoans because we were back home. But a challenge that I've had to face here that I wouldn't necessarily have to face in Samoa is a misconception that because we're quiet, it means that we don't know anything. In Samoa, we kind of know that even though, the loudest person in the room isn't necessarily the smartest. Even our makai, sometimes they come into the room and they don't speak. They're just there, like their presence is that present to the room. But here there can be some misconception that because Pacific women, they're soft-spoken, they don't have much to say, and that's very wrong. Confidence should never be mistaken for competence, because we are very competent, and sometimes our confidence is just not as loud as everyone else, but it's definitely there, and we have a lot to say, and we are very educated, and we know what to say.
Love it. Of course, we are celebrating women, but what do you think, though, is unique about Pacifica women, though?
What I think is unique about Pacifica women is that we lay in between these two roles of warrior and healer. And I think that's beautiful, because we have our strong women who are like the backbone. And, when you have like a big event in your family, it's always our women that are like, come on, let's go, let's get the ball rolling. Like, let's get the kids dressed, get the food in the car. And that's like the warrior spirit that our women have. But then also when our families and our communities go through times of hardship, and, with COVID, there's been a lot of them. Our families turn to our women too. When they're sick, a lot of the times it's our moms we want to see first. I've seen a lot of people have COVID over the past few weeks, and it's always their moms' numbers that they're reaching for. And that's the healer spirit in our women. And I think we exist as those two roles that are so pivotal in our community.
I love that. Now, of course, tonight is the Wave of the Moana Tsala tonight. Anything that you're sort of looking forward to about the event tonight?
Yes, I'm just excited to be in the same space as some amazing women and to learn from them. I saw the poster straight away and I said, oh my gosh, that's Auntie Felicia, who I learned so much about. And so I've been looking forward to this day, because I said, I can't wait to hear Auntie Felicia speak and bring my notebook and learn from these incredible women.
Love it. Any details that you could probably direct anyone to sort of come on board and watch tonight?
Yeah, so you can see it shared on these platforms, including the PMN platform. Nice. And the Talanoa starts at 5 p.m. and it's live and broadcasted. And so you can come join us.
Beautiful. One final message though from you, Brianna. What's something that you would leave with our listeners today, especially our women, to encourage them?
I would encourage you to call the other women in your life, to we get so busy and we just think, we have to get to our 9 to 5 and we have to clock in and clock out. But take some time today to call your mom, to call your auntie and your grandmas, or pull into your grandma's house on your way home, and just tell them that they're appreciated. And I'm sure that they will share the same sentiments with you, and just choose this time to really uplift each other and show love and appreciation, because it's much deserved.
Beautiful. Yes, we will definitely be tuning into this Talanoa tonight, Brianna. So thank you very much, though, for your time this morning. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
No